Welcome back to the Knit Crowd as well as yarnspirations.com. I'm your host Mikey. Today I'm going to show you how to do the knit stitch. Knit stitch is very common in knitting and is one of the basics and is the starting point of learning how to knit. So what I need to do is that I need to use both needles just like you see here, and we're going to play within each one of the loops that are on this needle, and we're going to transfer it over to this needle as we go. I want to explain what is happening with this particular finger that's waving over here. See, there I am. I want to show you exactly what's happening here because there's a lot more going on here than you realize in knitting. So you're gonna notice I want to insert this needle that's moving, okay, and I want to insert it into the same loop, and I want to insert it so it stays on the back side, so it's underneath, and when I go to do this like this, you will see that it's crossing over and that it's completely in that loop. So before I knit, I use this finger and I stabilize this loop, and you just happen to do it automatically, but the first one I never usually do. I just do all the rest of them like that. So all I'm just gonna do is take the other yarn and I'm gonna wrap it over that back needle like this, and I'm going to just bring it on through. So there it is on the needle coming through, and I got it onto the needle and I transfer it by just sliding that off. So what's happening over here in this finger, watch this. So as I'm inserting it in, okay, I put this finger behind this stitch to stabilize it. So I use it as like more of a pushing. So if you push something against something, it's kind of acting like as a counter push back in the other direction. So it makes it so if I go like this without it, you can see that this needle wants to go away, but if I put my finger behind it, it stabilizes as a counterbalance. And so I want to insert it into that loop, and I counterbalance so that it just glides over top of my finger, and I insert in. So it's now in behind. So then the knit stitch is just wrapping around the back needle, okay, and then just transfer it through. So just flicking it through. Now that it's through, slide it up off the needle. So with these particular stitches, I'm gonna move them closer to the edge, and again watch this finger, and I'm just gonna kind of speed up a little bit. So I'm just gonna stabilize it, okay. So I go in and then I wrap on the back side like this, and then I come forward and slide up. Okay, so stabilize, you push through, you wrap the back one, okay, you bring it forward, okay, and then you slide. See how I'm using this finger, watch that. So I'm stabilizing, I'm wrapping, I'm flicking forward, and I'm sliding up. So stabilize, wrap the back, flick it forward, and slide up. So stabilize, wrap, flick forward, slide up. So stabilize, wrap, flick forward, and then slide up. So you got to keep sliding. So it's okay. So this is related to the garter stitch. So the garter stitch in patterns is this same stitch. It's called the knit stitch, and what it is garters referred to as a term of the type of knitting. So if you go back and forth on the rows of just doing the same stitch back and forth, you get the same look of the project work that you see underneath right here. It's called the garter stitch when you continually do that. So the garter stitch really isn't a stitch, it's more of a process, and that's what you can see here is the garter stitch. You see the typical lines looking like they're waving upside down. So as we turn our work, we just start. So when you go to turn your work, make sure that your yarn is on the outside like so for this particular stitch. Wrap and begin again. This is called the knit stitch. So again, back and forth is called the garter stitch when you're going to do that. Okay, so this is how you do the knit stitch. Let me just finish off this row. And it's really not that hard once you get used to it. It's just a matter of the motion. I enjoy this particular stitch. It's just really kind of a no-brainer. And if you're just gonna go back and forth on the rows, which there are a lot of projects like that, it's really quite a simple pattern to be able to function with as well. You get that? So it's the knit stitch, just like that. And there you have it. So when you're done with your knit stitch project, you just cast off, and we have a tutorial available for that, and this is what it will look like in the end. So until next time, I'm Mikey on behalf of the Knit Crowd as well as yarnspirations.com.